Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Half the work week officially in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Got Otter Locks up at LouisianaSports.net, looking to get a bet down on the baseball action today. Get over to LouisianaSports.net for free and see what Jimmy is picking. He picked both yesterday, had them both on the money. So we'll see what happens today in Major League Baseball. Let's talk some college football. JD PicKell, host of the Hard Count on 3 Sports. Going to have to give us some time on Wednesdays. JD, how we feeling?
Brother, I'm doing great. I'm doing better now that I'm on with you. This week in college football, man. Give me the heebie-jeebies. A lot of heebie-jeebie games in Michigan. 2.5-point dog at USC. USC with that run defense, getting 2.5 points. Interesting. Ohio State, like a 3-score favorite when it opened on the road to the top 20 Illinois. A lot of heebie-jeebie, a lot of weird, but that's why we love it, man. Glad to be on with y'all.
Let's play a little game here, JD. I've not prepped you for this in any way, but I feel you're more than equipped to handle it. I'm going to give you a team, and you tell me if you would be shocked if they reached the national championship game. Now, maybe not win it, but would you be shocked if they got to the final? Indiana.
Great. Shock level would be go 6. I'll go 7. I'll go 7 just because that would mean that they were able to get through a number of really high-profile rosters in the playoff. But I think that Indiana is a team that could absolutely make it just because I think they're built for it, man. Like, I think that we look at that logo and we immediately think, oh, Hoosiers was a great movie. Oh, I love their pants they wear for basketball. What a fun thing for Indiana. But, like, they're top 10 in America in tackles for a loss and in sacks. Like, they actually have the big boys, I think, to at least compete with some of these other really high-profile rosters. So them going and winning like 3 or 4 games and finding themselves in the title game would be a touch more on the shocking side, but not shocked to where it's like, holy cow, what dream is this? Where am I? And is it Wednesday? I have to talk to Hunt today.
Texas A&M.
I'd probably be a 5. I think they're the most complete team in the SEC.
Okay.
I like Marcel Reed. We'd like to see more consistency. But I mean, I think their weapon. The thing with A&M to me, Hunt, the first time in maybe a decade plus, we know who they are in October. We don't know what they're going to accomplish, but we know who their quarterback is. We know what their line of scrimmage is. We know they have really good weapons. We know they have a real identity in Mike Elko. And so I think that plus their schedule would not be shocked if they caught fire in the playoff, found themselves in the title game whatsoever.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, I'll go 6, not to pepper around the 5 to 7 range here, but I'll go 6. I'm still waiting for Trinidad Chambliss. Is there like a turn back into a pumpkin moment that we see from him? I think that shock level probably decreases if they make the playoff, which I think they will. But overall, I'm still a little bit like, give me a minute on Ole Miss. Like, don't know if I love them so much just to be a national title contender.
And this one requires a little bit of thought, but Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, to me, is riding that Roy bus. I'd probably put Notre Dame closer to like 3.5, 4.
Really?
Because my big question is, like, are they going to get in the playoff? Like, they're going to play USC, and even if they beat USC, I don't know if they have like a stand-on-the-table win that gets them in if they're the 10-2 team compared to like, even if it's like a 10-2 Penn State, like 10-2 Penn State, yeah, the UCLA loss is an absolute black eye on what you did this year, but 10-2 means you beat Indiana and you beat Ohio State. So I think the biggest question for me is like, can they just make the dance? Like, if they make the dance, I trust Marcus Freeman and that beautiful hairline to go on a run, but getting in the first place is what would give me the most anxiety for them. So I'll go ahead and say like 4 to be on the more positive side of things for the Irish.
All right, that's the 4 that I kind of wanted to get your temperature on here at this point. I mean, for Notre Dame, it's like they have the losses look really good, but you would think you got to have a win. All right, let's talk about some teams. What are your thoughts on Texas right now?
I think Arch is just the absolute whipping boy for not just college football public, but like the public in general now. We got the New York Times article talking about it being a flop. Like, that's the whole – I think I was proud of us college football fans that we all sniffed that out as just bull junk and right away. Even Oklahoma fans were like, no, that's a little bit much. The thing that's concerning to me about Texas, Hunt, is I watched that Florida game, and I'm like, yeah, Arch is missing some throws. Arch is making turnovers. Like, that's not a good look. But gosh dang, my whole thing with Texas before the year was I like what's around Arch so much to where I'm okay if he's not great from the jump. And it was not that way at all in games. When they got blown off the ball on both sides of the line of scrimmage, Arch was harassed all day long. I don't see somebody that's like a true separator for them on the perimeter. So Arch is kind of the front man for all the issues, but the issues are beyond Arch Manning. And I don't know if it's going to get talked about enough. But should get talked about more if they lose in Red River.
All right, let's talk about Ohio State going to Champaign. You mentioned the spread 14.5 here. Illinois did not stay in their first test. Indiana ran them off the field. Can they find a way to stay within 2 touchdowns against Ohio State?
That must have gotten bet down. I think it opened like 16.5, and I was like, holy smokes. I don't think they can. And some of this is me trusting that the people building the skyscrapers in Vegas and their track record, they know something with that number being as big as it is. But when you look closer at Illinois, like the numbers on defense, I won't waste our time. They're bad. Yeah. They're like low 90s, triple digits in a lot of those categories. And so if USC can go for 364 on through the air against them, I shudder to think what like a Jeremiah Smith and a Carnell Tate could do to them. It would take a Julian Sayin freshman gutter ball kind of game for Illinois to be in it. But with how efficient he's looked, man, I have a hard time seeing that happening. So I'll take Ohio State to win, to cover, and to see the 2.0 version of the offense for the Buckeyes continue to show up with them pushing the ball downfield with the young Jedi Saiyan Skywalker.
I'm very disappointed, but I am drinking the Ty Simpson Kool-Aid right now. I just think he's playing great. They got an 11 o'clock kickoff in Como. Little bit sleepy for Alabama, but a number's short. It's 2.5. What do you give Coach Drink's team's chances there against the Tide?
I'm going to reverse the whole Bama experience right now. Georgia was awesome. The Vandy game was huge because they had that edge they were playing with. Diego Pavia's talking his cash, and Bama's got to get their lick back in Tuscaloosa. But Hunt, that first quarter, Vandy's running the football. They look like the more violent team. They gave Bama some trouble running the ball in general. Ahmad Hardy, I know everyone's beat this point to death, but he's leading the country, and when it comes to yards per carry, I believe, or yards overall when it comes to what he's done on the ground. Bo Padula got some shake and bake to him. I think Missouri wins that game, Hunt. I think it's the 11 a.m. kick of it all. I think it is the draw a line in the sand kind of moment for Eli Drink with his team. I think it's also the spot for Alabama where you have this stretch of 2 games that should be pretty emotionally and physically taxing. Plus, next week, you look ahead to Tennessee, so you got the look ahead plus letdown juice there that you're drinking if you're Bama. The big stat for me in this one, Missouri is number 1 in time of possession in college football. Now, they've played Kansas and South Carolina, but still, that stat, if they're even close to looking like that against Alabama, I think they win. I think it's like walk-off field goal-ish for Missouri, and they're going to win at home over Bama.
When LSU plays at night, really the only slate of games I can watch is that first slate at 11 o'clock because I'm doing pregame, and then I've got the LSU game, and then I got postgame, and I just can't watch very much. I can watch Missouri and Alabama. I'm looking forward to that coming up on Saturday. One that I won't watch because LSU kicks off at the same time is Georgia at Auburn on the Plains. Auburn 3-2 has just lost 2 games on the road, but it's only a 3.5-point line with Georgia heading across state lines to Jordan-Hare. You think Auburn's got a chance to win this game?
I think they do. I wouldn't feel that way if it was in Athens, but doesn't it just have such a weird, creepy
Auburn
environment? Yeah, it's got an Auburn vibe to it, doesn't it? I mean, plus you got the fact that it's a first-year starter in Stockton and a bunch of young players for Georgia. I'm like, there's a lot about this where if I'm a Georgia fan, I'm like, I don't feel great about it. I don't think I'm picking us to lose, but I don't feel great about it. So I feel that exact same way as someone as a third party you're breaking it down. I do think Georgia still wins because I have a hard time seeing Kirby let that team lose against what that Auburn team has looked like to this point in the year. But man, if that's not one that's like what's going on in the third and fourth quarter, hey, where are we at right now? Jackson Arnold in this game, brother. If there was a time, Jackson, if you're listening, this is the spot. You got a secondary that's been extremely gettable to this point in the year. You have two receivers, Singleton and Cam Coleman, that can go like legit win for you. Like let it rip, Jackson. With Jordan Hare at your back, brother, go cement yourself as one of those guys we talk about here for years to come. Whenever we break down this game going forward, say, well, yeah, quarterback play doesn't look great for Auburn right now, but Jackson Arnold, he got right against Georgia that one year. It could happen. So it's one of those it could happen games, but I really do think that Georgia ultimately will have too much on the line of scrimmage to let it get to be a point where Auburn wins that game at home.
This is one of those games that you would have looked forward to, and may still be, obviously, with the redesign of the conferences. But Michigan's going to the Coliseum to play USC. Are we supposed to care about that game with these two teams in this season? What's the read on that?
It's a very fair prologue you just provided there because of what you just said with Michigan, USC. They both kind of feel like, hey, next year teams, but I think for Michigan, the thing that's interesting about them, their 2-game stretch here between USC and then playing Washington next weekend, that's going to determine, I think, what the Ohio State game is for them. Like, if you lose both these games coming up, you're 9-3, heading into that game probably, and 9-3 is probably not a college football playoff situation for you. If you were to lose that game to Ohio State, that is, or 8-3, I should say. Final answer: 8-3 for Michigan, 3 losses. But, if you go split those two and you beat Michigan State, if you're Michigan, like, okay, we play Ohio State likely as a team that's 9-2 with a chance to punch our ticket to the college football playoff with a win. And then for USC, if you can beat Michigan, okay, well, some confidence is up for the Notre Dame game. And then in November, we got a couple of games that look more winnable than before if we had, dropped that game. So I say all that to say, I think it's a big hinge point for both teams in their season. And I think both these teams, the winner of this, will have a workable path, not the most manageable, but workable to where you could talk me into them being a team that backdoors into the college football playoff as an at-larger. So I will care about it. I think it'll be fun based on just it being a great helmet matchup and 2 exciting quarterbacks. But I'm with you in the sense that I think both these teams, if you're talking like national title aspirations, you'd look probably past this year to have that discussion.
2 more. We'll get to LSU, South Carolina pick at the end here. What do we make of what has gone on in the last 2 weeks in Happy Valley and with James Franklin? Big deal? Not a big deal? What do we think?
I think big deal because they just took their eye off the ball against UCLA. And obviously everyone saw that and knows that. But to me, the comparison for me is like Penn State's always had allergies against top 10 teams, and every single year you just charge it to allergies. Well, yeah, they don't look great, but it's top 10 teams because James Franklin just loses top 10 teams. But now, like, that's a new symptom, losing to a team that hasn't won a game. That's like Penn State always, for better or for worse, against top 10 teams, they beat who they were supposed to be. So that makes me really nervous. I worry about how good of I wonder what the week was like at Penn State going into the UCLA game, because you had just lost to Oregon, and you would think, okay, now we get our Ohio State on, compared to what happened last year where they kind of flipped the switch. Now we flip our switch and we go play our best ball. And it looked like none of that conversation actually happened in Unhappy Valley these days. So I'm very concerned about Penn State.
All right, LSU, South Carolina, Tiger Stadium, Saturday night. Nussmeier, Sellers, been a little bit underwhelming to this point, but somebody's got to find a little bit of rhythm and win a game on Saturday. Who you like?
There's a Colby Calais song called I Won't Give Up on Us. That's kind of how I feel about LSU. I won't give up. That's kind of how I feel about LSU these days, Hunt. I can see a world where Tatum Durham back, a little bit different approach to manufacturing a run game. You got the window dressing. It's more displacement over physical domination to run the ball. Nussmeier had a week to get healthy. I think LSU wins the game. I think they cover. And I also think that they have suffered from having the bye week. When they lost to Ole Miss, everyone had their take. Brian Kelly's this, he's that. And like all that was valid. It was fair. But there was not a game following that weekend where LSU got to add or change that narrative. It just persisted for 2 weeks. So a narrative going for 2 weeks in some people's mind becomes factual. I think LSU sets the record straight. And they don't look incredible, but they look better and keep me hoping for another week as someone holding this national title ticket for the Tigers. I think they get it done at home.
Let's hope so. JD PicKell, host of The Hard Count, looking for your college football content. You can find it on their YouTube channel, wherever you find your podcasts. Find him on Twitter, JD PicKell. Thanks, man.
Love you, brother. Talk to you soon.
Sure will. That is JD PicKell. He's with us every single Wednesday here. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. SEC Power Rankings in 15 minutes. Come back with more.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is that website. Look, Jonathan Carver and his team understand the captive world, and not every broker in the insurance marketplace does. Not every insurance broker has access to captives. Not all of them understand them. They work with them every day at the Highland Insurance Group. So if you're a business owner, you feel like your insurance costs are just prohibitive and they're getting worse and worse over time, and you just got to make a change and find another option, and you haven't seen captives, the Highland Insurance Group can do it. Go to HighlandIG.com, fill out that information, contact them here in Baton Rouge, say, hey, I'd love to have the conversation. You may fit, and it may be a game changer for your business. You may not, but you won't know unless you make the phone call to Jonathan Carver and his team at the Highland Insurance Group. I tell you this is just my opinion as someone who spent time in insurance. I think that captives are the future of insurance. You've got to fit. You've got to have great loss history, great risk management, and your premium's got to be substantial. But if all those boxes are checked and you do fit, it can be a bottom line difference maker for your business in the terms of insurance. So contact the Highland Insurance Group and see if they can help you with that. It's HighlandIG.com. They're here in Baton Rouge, can help you out statewide. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com, built by Renaissance.com. We all know that LSU is trying to find some rhythm in the passing game. I found it interesting, and it was something that I agreed with, and you've heard me say this if you listen with any sort of frequency. Brian Kelly said last week, we've got to find some rhythm in the passing game. We were elite at that last year, and we just haven't really found it. And everyone wants to harp on the running game for good reason. You got to get better running the ball. You have to get better running the ball. But LSU's also got to get better at passing the ball, and I feel like the path to substantial improvement passing the ball is easier explained because you've got a quarterback who's done it and wide receivers who have done it, and the offensive line hasn't been terrible in pass protection. I just feel like they need to find more in the passing game, and that certainly is going to entail some help from the running game to displace the defense and allow some cleaner windows to throw through. But one of the other things that Brian Kelly was asked about on Monday and talked about was the rotation at wide receiver. Nobody's really broken out at this point from a wide receiver perspective. Barrion Brown has 25 catches to lead the way, 239 yards. That's under 50 yards a game. Aaron Anderson has played in 5 games. One of those was cut short in Oxford, obviously, but he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. Xavier Thomas has a pair of touchdowns, but he's got 178 yards total receiving on the season. Kyle Parker has got 9 catches for 91 yards and a score. Nick Anderson has 2 touchdown catches. One of them wasn't even thrown to him. He just caught it off the ricochet. You've got all these talented guys, and you haven't necessarily gotten anybody going. And the question to Brian Kelly was how do you handle the rotation of your wide receivers over the course of a game?
I think last week or 2 weeks ago, you saw less personnel moving in and out of the game at the wide receiver position. We were setting almost every play for a particular player. And in some instances, that's good. But sometimes you don't get the flow of the game, right? There's 2 things going on. So I think we felt more comfortable what the rotation was last week in terms of our receivers being in and out of the game.
It's interesting. That's saying that we've got different wide receivers. We know that. They have different skill sets. Barrion Brown's skill set doesn't look like Nick Anderson's skill set. Xavier Thomas's skill set doesn't look exactly like Nick Anderson's skill set. You're talking about guys that have differing abilities. Chris Hilton and Kyle Parker don't play the same. So you're trying to get guys on the field to do the things that they do best. And maybe that's creating a little bit of a disjointing effect. You can't get into a rhythm. Maybe there are too many guys that Garrett Nussmeier is trying to get in tune with, and it's just hard to do that with 5 or 6 guys as opposed to 2 or 3. In 2019, you knew who it was going to be. It was going to be Chase, Jefferson, Marshall. That's it. Those are the guys. 2 years ago in 23, Neighbors, Thomas, Lacey. You knew. And Well, I don't think LSU has anybody of Jamar Chase's capability on this team. I don't think anybody has Brian Thomas or Malik Neighbors' capability on this team. I think there's something in continuity, and it just hasn't quite worked itself out. So the question is, like, who do you need to go to more often? And I think the answer right now, they feel like Barryon Brown, Aaron Anderson, Xavion Thomas are the guys that are the most consistent. Now, those guys are all sub 6'1". They're all quick. They're all fast. You don't have a lot of catch radius with any of them. You don't have a lot of size to box defenders out. You don't have a lot of leaping ability. So it's a lot of the same stuff. And maybe Nick Anderson gives you some of that. And certainly Trades Green gives you that. And I don't want to sit Chris Hilton for 4 quarters, but he hasn't been involved very much. Chris Hilton's got 4 catches. His long of the year is 11 yards. So maybe you're going to see that tighten up. I can't give you a definite on that, but it sounds like that from what Brian Kelly is saying, and it feels like that's coming. And he gave another quote on kind of getting the passing game up and running with a little bit of continuity.
I think at the end of the day, it's more explosive plays. We were 1 of 7 when we threw the ball down the field. We've got to hit some of those shots that we came up short on. Those are big plays that usually led themselves for us to touchdowns. So big plays down the field, we've got to hit on those. And then I think finding a nice rhythm offensively where we're not, going over the boards every time, on a shift change. We've got to be a little bit more consistent with our flow.
Does this feel any different if Garrett Nussmeier hits Barryon Brown on the first drive against Tech and hits Chris Hilton in the second half against Ole Miss? Like, does this discussion feel different? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that hypothetical. It was one throw against Louisiana Tech. It was in the first drive. If he misfires like he did the rest of that night, do I feel differently about it? I'm not sure. You hit that big play to Hilton against Ole Miss, maybe you feel a little bit differently. And if I'm allowed to take that hypothetical one further, am I allowed to go, well, if he does that, you feel like he's healthy and that everything's available to you and that you have hit some big plays, the numbers look a little bit better. And Nussmeier adds 65, 70 yards against Louisiana Tech. He adds 40 more against Ole Miss. That's another 100 yards, 20 yards per game. It's 2 touchdowns. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I still haven't given up on them being really good throwing the ball. I have kind of given up on the run game. I've kind of given up. If they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. But I said for anyone to hear 2 weeks ago, this show, pregame on the network, interview in Shreveport, interview in Lafayette, interview in New Orleans, writing on LouisianaSports.net, anywhere anyone consumes any of my content, I said they're not going to run the ball in Ole Miss. Yeah, I know Ole Miss is the worst run defense in the SEC. I know. But they're way better than Southeastern. They're way better than Tech, and LSU couldn't run it on them. So why would I think they were going to step up and run against Ole Miss? I've given up on that to an extent. I have not given up on their ability to throw the ball better. And I don't know how I would handle the rotation at wide receiver. I see great reasons to have Barryon Brown out there, to have Aaron Anderson out there, to have Bauer Sharp out there, to have Nick Anderson out there, to have Chris Hilton out there, Trades Green. Like, I see reasons to get all those guys involved. If you tell me that it's better for the quarterback to rep all week with 3 guys and put those 3 guys out there more often, I'll understand that too. That has to be something the coaches figure out. But something's got to get better throwing the football. And if it's the quarterback's ab strain or a tightening of the wide receiver rotation or a change in defensive philosophy because you've run the ball more often, if not better, so be it. Like, it's up to the coaching staff to figure it out. I don't get paid to figure that out. But somebody's got to figure that out. And it sounds like to me some tweaks were made during the bye week. And I sit here on Wednesday for a Saturday game, and the optimist in me says, okay, and keep in mind, there's some pessimists there that just gave up on the running game. I'm not all optimist all the time, but I've given up on that. There's some optimism in me that goes, okay, the quarterback Took a week off throwing. Maybe healthier. The staff had a chance to self-scout. Maybe saw some things. They think the wide receiver group can be tightened to increase continuity and create some more explosive plays down the field. Maybe it comes. Our discussion changes if they come out on Saturday and throw for 345 and 4 touchdowns, which is possible. Nussmeier torched this team through the air a lot of last year. I'm not calling it likely, and I'm telling you that the same conversation, I mean, they come out there and throw for 211 and no touchdowns and a pick, and Nussmeier ducks a deep ball, and you lose the game. Like, that changed our conversation too. That Monday conversation is not out of the question at all. But we're still looking for a change. And if the change doesn't come, the pessimism grows. If the change does come, the optimism can follow. And yes, I know. I came here after the Southeastern game and said I thought the quarterback looked healthy. I was wrong because he didn't look healthy against Ole Miss. I'm guessing on that. But we'll see. LSU in South Carolina. 6:45 on Saturday night in Death Valley. Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We will come back with a new edition of SEC Football Power Rankings next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com. America's best warranty. Love telling you about it because it is real. It's industry leading. Powertrain warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Bumper-to-bumper new vehicle warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles. Industry-leading stuff. How great is it? If an issue arises with your vehicle, that can be a disheartening feeling, right? If you know you got that warranty, just makes things all the more better. Enhanced 24/7 roadside assistance, 5 years, unlimited miles. Complimentary scheduled maintenance. No one wants to deal with the oil change. No one wants to deal with the air filter. No one wants to deal with the wiper fluid or getting those wipers changed. You don't have to for 3 years. They come get your car and handle it. You don't pay for it, and they drive you a loaner. Beautiful. It's a luxury vehicle at a reasonable price. Get on by and see them, airline at PQ, or online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com, GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up.
Fun show, fast-moving show here on this Wednesday. Half that work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us, open things up, talking about Lenora Sellers and the South Carolina offense. Did some What If Wednesday, talked Chase Young and the Saints. JD PicKell from the Hard Count was good enough to give us a little bit of time in the second hour as well. Always invite you, go check things out on demand at 1045ESPN.com's on demand tab, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you find your sound, you can find us. If you're just looking for LSU, you can find us at Hunt on LSU. Just looking for Saints, you can find us at Hunt on Saints. And of course, always remind you about LouisianaSports.net. It's been remarkable kind of see the growth of LouisianaSports.net over the course of this calendar year. We launched in August of last year. You know, obviously, its infancy for football season last year. Got a nice head of steam from baseball and the run that they made to a national championship in the spring into the summer. And then this football season's just been incredible. So appreciate you all for seeking that out, making that part of your day, and giving us the positive feedback that you have. It's been great to be a part of. So thank you all once again. Let's crank it up. Some SEC football power rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I don't like him there. And JD just picked Missouri to win, which makes me feel good because I hope Missouri does win. But for right now, I like the way Ty Simpson's playing. I know that Vanderbilt played him tight for a quarter. It didn't look great. Played him tight for a half. Didn't look great for Alabama. But they imposed their will. They got the turnovers they needed, and they won the game. And so I think that's a good thing for the Tide. There have been a lot of teams that haven't won games, so I'll take Alabama number one.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
They moved Georgia back one and Oklahoma up one this week. I don't have a great reason for it. I like Oklahoma's defense a lot. We'll see what they're able to do this weekend against Texas. And we'll also see whether or not John Mateer plays. I think he probably will.
He said that he is planning on playing.
Clearly. But that would be what you would tell.
Yeah, of course. You're not going to say you aren't planning on it.
And this could change the way I view Oklahoma, because I do think that Texas defense is still decent. Their offense is garbage. So I think they're going to have trouble scoring on Saturday. But I like Oklahoma, too.
Oh, hold on one second.
Okay.
Had an issue here. All right.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Building suspense. That's all that is. The Georgia Bulldogs, they're just not the dominant force they once were. And that's maybe holding them against their own standard, which is definitely unfair in this exercise. They're really good. Would it shock me if they made the playoff? No. Would it shock me if they advanced in the playoff? No. Would it shock me if they got to the national final and won it? No. But I got them at 3.
Texas A&M!
Aggies move up a spot. They just annihilated Mississippi State in the second half. I know Mississippi State's not good, but they just have A&M's got a confidence about them. They're playing much better on defense than they did early in the season. Marcel Reed's pretty good. They can run the ball. They've got an identity. Like, they're good. It's disgusting to watch, but they're good.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
I backed Ole Miss up a spot there. I just think that A&M jumped them. That's not obviously anything Ole Miss did. They were off last week. But I like what Ole Miss is. I think they're top 5 in the SEC. I think they're a likely playoff team in my estimation. They'd have to have it go sideways and lose really all 3 of their biggest games moving forward. But I moved A&M in front of them.
The Missouri Tigers.
From the Show Me State, they're going to have to show me something on Saturday. A really light schedule at the top there for Missouri. They were going to have to get off to a great start. They did. Now they got Alabama coming to Columbia. 11 o'clock kickoff. Show me what you got. I think Missouri moves from 6 this week. Is it up to 4? Is it back to 9? I think those are in play. Just depends on what they do this week.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Vols, good team. Good quarterback. Better defense than I thought. Middle tier of the SEC.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vanderbilt goes to Tuscaloosa, really ran the ball well. Pavia turned the ball over, which you can't do. But their defense showed up and put up a fight against Ty Simpson in that Alabama offense. Just didn't hold long enough. And when your offense turns the ball over twice inside the other team's 30-yard line, that's going to hurt. Vandy's pretty good. They're a pretty good team. Got them 8.
The LSU Tigers.
We'll see what LSU can do this weekend against South Carolina. The offense is bottom half of the SEC. Running game is second to last in the SEC. That's bad. I still love the defense. I think it's very, very, very good. So we'll leave them there at 9.
The Auburn Tigers.
Watch out for Auburn this week. They're at home. Georgia comes in. They're not that bad. They were bad on offense against A&M. They weren't great on offense against Oklahoma, but their defense has been scrappy. They do have talent on offense out wide with Cam Coleman, that receiving core. I don't trust the Jackson Arnold, and that's a big hurdle. But I like Auburn a little bit there at 10.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
I backed Texas up, which you'll see here, which is part of the reason South Carolina moved up a couple of spots here. They're not very good. Their offense is very clunky. Their defense isn't what it was. This may be ambitious, and I may find out in Tiger Stadium that they're really bad. But I've got them at 12 for today.
The Florida Gators.
Florida moves up 2 spots. Like, they played some offense. They scored 30 points almost in the game against Texas at home. Their defense was flying around. I mean, they took advantage of a bad Texas offense, but Lagway looked functional. So, is Florida good? No. Did they play better on Saturday? Sure. They move up a little bit.
The Texas Longhorns.
I'm pretty stunned here. They're 13. And I would suggest most people would have them worse. I still am going to give them a little bit of credit for going to Ohio State and playing that game really tight. That's Julian Sands' first game. I get that. And so it's not a big deal. It was a long time ago now. But Texas isn't atrocious. They're just bad on offense, and the skill position talent around hasn't been good enough.
You know where you had them in the preseason power rankings, or week 1, I should say?
2.
Correct.
13.
Correct.
That's an 11-spot difference for those doing the math at home.
It is.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Back Mississippi State up 2 spots. They just got stuffed in a locker in the second half in College Station. I mean, you've got an offensive coach in Jeff Levy, and you've got a senior quarterback in Blake Shapen, and you can't do anything on offense after the first drive of the game. Like, that's a problem. Their defense did the best it could, and they deserve a lot of credit for shoring that up after a historically bad last year, but they're still bad.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Hogs haven't moved. Still got a good offense, bad defense, bad team. Now a new coach in Bobby Petrino. We'll see what he can do against Tennessee this week in Knoxville. I don't anticipate that going great, but you never know with that new coach bump. So we'll see what the Hogs can do this weekend.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
I got a prediction Kentucky's going to stay at 16 the rest of the way. I don't know that they're going to move. It's a Missouri baseball type situation here where you can just pencil that in right at the beginning of the exercise of getting
until
this done.
They beat Ole Miss last year in football. I mean, they were
that
probably
was in September.
It was, but still,
They're not winning a league game this year. I think they're going for the bagel. So
don't think they can beat Auburn or Florida.
They could. They're not going to.
Okay.
All right, that's the power rankings. Alabama 1, Oklahoma 2, Georgia at 3, Texas A&M at 4, Ole Miss at 5. Right now, those feel like the playoff real possibilities. Missouri needs to prove something this week to get into that. There at 6, Tennessee at 7, Vanderbilt at 8, LSU at 9, Auburn's at 10, South Carolina at 11. Number 12 is the Florida Gators. Texas falls all the way to 13, 3 more spots down. Mississippi State at 14, Arkansas at 15. And the Kentucky Wildcats at 16.
So do you think 5 SEC teams get into the playoff?
No. I just think those are the ones that are playing for it.
Okay, but how many do you think will get in?
4.
Okay.
I think 4 can get in. We'll see. The Big 12 does need to knock, and you need to make sure we don't have an Indiana situation from last year in the Big 12 where somebody goes 11-1. That team probably gets into the playoffs. I mean, it probably gets into the championship game, so maybe that's not as big a concern, like Indiana didn't get to its championship game. But I think that the ACC is like, you've already lost Clemson. Florida State's likely going to be out because they've already got 2 losses. Like, you're starting to lose ACC teams, and you had 2 ACC teams last year. So to me, I think there's an extra spot. I think the SEC gets 4.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I could see 5 if
that's hard to get to.
It's hard, but if you have, like, let's say
you need Oregon, Ohio State to run the table and everybody else to lose 3.
Yeah,
that's a lot to ask.
It is.
Penn State's helping you.
They are.
And Indiana could. We don't really know what they are. They probably lose a game this weekend. But it's a tall task to get that many SEC teams in.
It is. But as far as the rankings go, I think this is about right. I don't have much to say about it.
Is Oklahoma better than Georgia?
I think that on a neutral site, Georgia would probably still be favored by maybe a point or 2, but I don't know. I would hesitate to say that.
Is A&M better than Ole Miss?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. I think their defense is good.
Disgraceful.
Yeah, we might need a visit from the Yell leader.
Something needs to go off the rails in College Station. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it needs to.
We might need a visit from the Yell leader, Hunt.
Who do they have this week? Are they off? They're off this week.
They're off.
God, disgraceful. Tough to lose a bye week.
You can't really do that.
Oh, Yankees, it's bad.
Oh wait, no, AM's playing in Florida.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Well, that's in College Station.
It is, but hey, Florida.
Hey,
I mean,
Sunbelt Billy, baby.
Yeah.
I can chomp all day long. I got the orange shirt on today.
There's nobody
I bleed
more
blue and orange.
Nobody more intimidating to play than Billy Napier with his job on the line.
That's exactly right. The guy gets his back against the wall and they come out swinging blue and orange style.
Yep.
Also, his team not great.
No, but they won. Beat Texas.
I need to get a message to DJ Lagway. Don't throw 5 interceptions on the road because I've seen that and it doesn't go well. So we'll see if they can clean that up. Go with 0. Go Gator. We'll pick those games against the spread on Friday. Come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com. Such a great place to hang out. If you've never hit into a golf simulator, it's really fun and it's really enlightening. It's cool. It's really lifelike in terms of the way the ball travels. I know that. I'm a natural right to left player and I can get pretty nasty with the right to left, so that is indicated on that golf simulator. But it's really cool to hit the shots at Pebble Beach. It's really cool to hit the shots at Bethpage back. It's really cool to hit the shots at TPC, and you can do that with your friends. Hang out in one of those bays. They got comfortable seating areas, a television there. You can take your mulligans. You can play for fun. You can play for cash with your friends. You want to hang out, watch football on a Sunday, great place to hang and do that. Make it tee time. Socialize with your buddies. They got a full ice chest over there full of beers, seltzers, wine. You can hang out. Just a personalized golf club. You can get a membership to it as well. Corporate memberships are available at Swing Easy Golf Club. You're like, where is it? Segan at Perkins. Segan at Perkins. Go by and see him. Book a tee time. Get inside that bay. Have some fun. It's Swing Easy Golf Club. Online, swingeasygcbr.com. Swingeasygcbr.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wrapping things up here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Looking to get that pool of your dreams. BuiltByRenaissance.com. BuiltByRenaissance.com. Contact my guy, Joey Landry. I give you his Joey Landry. I know a Joey Landry, too. Joey Blanchard is who you need to contact there. 225-252-7745. Again, 225-252-7745. BuiltByRenaissance.com. Renaissance Homes and Pools brings you our Wednesday shows each and every week. All right, let's play some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. If you're tailgating out there for the Tigers this weekend, pick up a pack of Flight as you head out to campus. It's delicious, it's light, it's refreshing, got all the flavor you're looking for in a beer and all the great benefits of a light beer. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs. A lot of you folks have tried Yingling over the years. You may not have tried Flight by Yingling. It is the next generation of light beer.
All righty, first one here. This was maybe one of the craziest headlines I've read about college football in quite some time.
Okay.
Stanford football, they got a donation from a former player. Guy's name is Bradford M. Freeman. You can just tell by his name he's pretty wealthy. Well, he donated a large sum of money to Stanford. Hon, have you seen this?
I have not.
Can you guess how much money he donated to Stanford football?
$21 million.
No, a little bit higher than that.
$51 million.
$50 million. Bradford M. Freeman. I can't find out what he does. I found out he's a private equity guy, which is not surprising. Yeah. But he donated $50 million to the Stanford football program. Not like a building or anything. It's the football program. $50 million to the Stanford Cardinal football team. Donating $50 million to Stanford football. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. It's all relative. If you've got $51 million and you give $50 million to Stanford, that's probably a bad decision.
Probably so.
If you've got $6 billion and you give him $50 million,
I don't think he has $6 billion, but you never know.
I don't either. But
who knows?
It's all relative. So, I mean, it's if that's what you're passionate about, they stink. They're terrible. They've been terrible for a long time. Nobody really cares. They're a non-factor in the world of college football and their conferences across the entire country. So I'm not sure how much fruit is going to be born from that development. But if you have the money, fire away.
All right, last one real quick. We talked about yesterday the Bengals traded for Joe Flacco. I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that he will be starting. Head coach Zach Taylor said that today, that he will be starting against the Packers. The Bengals get the win behind Joe. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave that.
Leave it alone.
Because they're bad.
They are.
Joe Flacco, also bad.
Yes.
And the Bengals will lose a lot of games, including this one coming up on Sunday. The Packers are not bad.
No, they're pretty good, actually.
I'm glad the Packers are playing because I need Josh Jacobs back in the fantasy going because I got last place in my league this past week.
We need the Cubs to win today.
Badly.
And then the Brewers fans will be they'll be finished and they'll just only care about the Packers again.
Here's my thing with the Cubs today. I woke up this morning, went for my run. I was listening to Locked On Cubs.
Yep.
And it's bad. Like they're down an 0-2 hole. They have to beat the Brewers, who had the best record in baseball 3 times. That's very difficult to do.
It is.
But I did think about the other side of that coin, and I went, I get to watch the Cubs in a playoff game today.
Wow.
And that doesn't happen very often.
Very positive.
So let's see what can happen.
In Wrigley, by the way,
It's at Wrigley. You're going to have great unis on. It's going to look gorgeous on TV. Wind's blowing in a little bit. We'll see what they can do. I don't think I'm going to get super emotional about this game unless it gets really tight late, which could happen. Probably going to happen considering the wind's blowing in. It's going to be hard to score runs for anybody. But hopeful. You get a win today, show up tomorrow, and you're one win away from making things real interesting.
I'm sure you're very happy as well that the next game, if they make it to the next game, it will be on Thursday and not Friday when they could potentially wear your very, very favorite uniform.
They would not do that.
No?
Not in my presence.
Okay.
All right, that's it for a Wednesday edition. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints, or the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt's going to drive you home on AFR. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place.
The Hunt Palmer Show.